Good morning, St. Louis. It is that time. It is 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. So y'all know what time it is. It is time for the St. Louis Hustle Podcast with yours truly, CORTEZ Hustle. That's my girl, Michelle. Hey. And it's about to go down, man. We're talking about how to deal with past family hurts. We know this time of year it's supposed to be festive, loving, but it seems that every holiday we're supposed to be getting together. There's some drama that's keeping some folks away. Certain people can't be in the same room. How in the heck do we deal with all that stuff? That's what we're talking about today, man. So do us a huge favor, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of the business, your business, and or your brand, and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen, and let us know in the comments. Are you familiar with this topic of family drama? Because it's about to go down. So let's kick it.
Growing up in St. Louis has never been easy, and most say if you want to succeed here, that you must leave and put down roots somewhere else because of the strong crabs in a barrel mentality here.
I don't know if I'm just an optimistic person, but to see people like Chuck Berry and Nelly make it in the music industry, or the Roberts brothers and Dave Stewart in business, or William Lacey Clay Jr. in politics, can we blame the city, or is it that people just aren't hungry enough?
We're talking to all of the movers and shakers in this town, from entertainers to politicians, social activists and organizers, and of course, entrepreneurs.
Is there a curse on this city that holds people back? Is there an unseen hand that decides who makes it and who doesn't? You're about to find out.
Welcome to St. Louis Hustle.
All right, St. Louis, welcome to the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, CORTEZ Hustle. That's my girl, Michelle. Hey, coming to you live and direct from the Black Biz Success Mastermind Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you are a Black business owner that's looking to scale your business and you want hundreds of dollars of free tools and resources every single week, then you need to text the keyword mastermind to 314-866-4053. Again, text the keyword mastermind to 314-866-4053. You get to join our mastermind. It's 100% free. We're just building a community that's offering tools and resources to help Black people grow their businesses so that we can fulfill our mission of helping Black people become the #1 employers of Black people in the next 2 generations. If you want to be down, then text mastermind to 314-866-4053. Today we are talking all about, Michelle, family drama, how to get over it, how to get around it, how to get under it, how to get through it, how to get past it, how to deal with it. It's a holiday season, folks. Don't be bringing all that tension around the Christmas turkey. Come on.
Don't need Christmas turkey. We gotta have turkey again.
Whatever the trimmings are, tension ain't gonna help. But tension should not be on the menu.
Tension make the meat tough. Don't do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Tension is not a good marinade.
So, Chalet, how was your weekend?
Well, let me tell you. I dealt with the 2 men in my life this weekend. They had 2 opposite ends of the perspective, right? Of the spectrum. I dealt with my grandson. I kept my grandson overnight on Saturday, and that little booger, he 2 months old. I love him so. However, he already spoiled, and he already know how to miss his mama. Because that booger clown on me so bad on Saturday night with the and the he just was crying. Then I just got a rant. I finally get the little booger, the scout booger. When he's loving and awesome, he's my grandbaby, he's my peanut. When he get on my nerves, he gonna be a scout booger. Finally get the little scout booger, settle down and sleep. My daughters are having a friendsness party and playing some board game where they had to call a parent, play a prank. So I get this frantic call from my frantic daughter after I just get them sleep. And you know, as a parent, there's a way your child can sound that make you go, what's wrong? Oh Lord. I got that call and I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, I hit somebody. And I'm like, you hit somebody? What you mean? I'm thinking CORTEZ because My oldest child, God love her, but she don't see that well at night, and especially if she been drinking. So I said, you hit another car. No, I hit a person. Oh, Lord Jesus, she going to jail. I don't want to go to jail, Mama, please. She's believably crying frantic. And I'm like, wait, where are you? She's like, I'm driving. I said, well, where's the person? I got him in the back seat. I'm like, what? Because first of all, my mind going, why would you call me? And you know I got the baby. That's the first thing, selfishly. Right. Yeah, damn the person that they like. Sorry, Lord. But yeah, I got this baby. Why are you calling me and I just got this baby sleep? Talking about you hit somebody. But when she said in the back seat, I can't go to jail. Is this a joke? And then everybody in the room busts out laughing. I was so damn mad, I just hung the phone up. When I just hung the phone, I don't want to talk to you for about 2 weeks. Merry Christmas, early, because I'm done. Then the next day, I'm dealing with the other man in my life, my daddy. Other end of the spectrum, my daddy can't get into his bank account. He's calling over the automated system. It won't let me in. Doesn't like me. You know what? I think they stealing money from my account because everybody's stealing when you can't get into the automated system. I said, Dad, you need to be putting in the last 4 digits of your social. It's last 5 digits. He said, 9232. I said, 5, Dad. 9232. Then he gets mad at me. He was like, I said it was 9232.
Yeah.
I said 5. Then he goes, 490, 9232. I said, I'm done. I'm done. And he was heartlessly mad. Then when I finally got him to see what he was doing wrong, he's like, oh, you know I get confused. Done.
See?
Done.
See? Now, when I told you about my father-in-law, you was giggling and
I went,
Google, honey, baby, sugar. Could you call Tezzy? I got to ask you something about his business.
Nothing gets, you can't beat that. You can't beat him talking to Google like a sugar daddy. You can't beat that.
Google don't understand that. You say, when you got to pass Google and you start the honey, baby, sugar, you lost it.
Man.
You lost it.
That guy here got an iPhone because he be jacking Siri up. This is a thank God. Siri might have to make a phone call.
Yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah,
that was my weird.
It's crazy. So that's pretty cool though. We got to cherish these moments. We're sharing what my wife and I. Her aunt is going through Alzheimer's, and it's kind of, and her dad is kind of showing some symptoms, and you just kind of got to realize that at some point, the longer this thing goes, they're not going to remember. So you got to go ahead and create the memories that you can, and make sure that they know. And I would be trying to stock as many memories, because you never know which ones that they're going to be able to pull out and think of. So it's like, man, let me try to pull. I told you I had a friend who, his father went, his granddad went missing, and this is the scary thing about dementia and Alzheimer's. He found himself lost, got in his truck, and drove home. The home he remembered, though, was in Chicago.
Oh boy.
He drove back to his home.
That's where he remembered he lived. I've heard of that before.
That's what he remembered. And luckily, a police officer found him and quickly understood. And shout out to that police officer who took him into his home and was able to finally get his phone, get through some of the numbers. And finally, he's like, man, I got you, Grandpa. He's safe. But we in the shy.
What? I don't know if he's supposed to be here, but he here. Wow.
I'm gonna get him. So love on you people, ladies and gentlemen. And even I say create the memories now, but not as if you create them when they're older. But no, you got to create those memories now, because these are the memories that they just might latch on to. You never know. So get in the presence of your folks, man. I've got to do a way better job of that, creating opportunities for my sons to come and hang out with my mom and my grandma, who's still alive on my mom's side. So
Nice. If you need a grandpa, hey, I got one.
I'm horrible at that.
You need to borrow grandpa?
Get better. Yeah.
You need to borrow grandpa? I'll loan you mine. I'll loan you my dad. He's
I'm thinking brand new business, a loan of grandpa.
There it is. There it is. You know what I'm saying?
You just go to the Loan of Grandpa app, you put in your location, and you'll find the grandpa in the closest proximity.
You heard me? DoorDash. Papa Dash. Grandpa Dash.
And we'll drop grandpa off to you.
You heard me? Instacart. Man, I put a pin in that because that could be something. Tell you, we all about Black Biz over here.
We're talking family drama. What is some of the things that your family has gone through and that they're holding on to that creates tension every holiday season? We're going to talk about that in some ways that you can overcome those family hurts, deal with them, and then how to recognize when either they can't be dealt with, and sometimes you just have to let them go and move on. I'm a big fan of collective healing. I want us all to get through this and get over it together. But sometimes you just gotta focus on your own healing, right?
Yep,
and
absolutely.
We're talking about all of those things today. But before we get into any of that, somebody wants to holler at Michelle. You ready?
Oh, that's my friend. Wait a moment. I was like, oh, hey.
All right. Well, let's get ready for the Michelle A word of the day.
And now the Michelle I word of the day.
Oh, what's up, party people? What's up? So the Michelle A word of the day. I'm really kind of excited. Now, we're coming close to the end of the year. So this has kind of been a theme a little bit that I've been talking about just being who you are, right? Who are you being while you being who you being? That's something to think about, right? Who are you being while you're being who you're being? You get that? Okay. So I was having a discussion with a really good friend of mine. Shout out to Coach Lisa. Hey, girl. And we were talking about, we're getting ready to be 50. Her birthday is a week ahead of mine. And this month, don't forget me. Okay. So her birthday is a week ahead of mine. And we're talking about approaching 50. And we're, just kind of thinking about life overall and how sometimes in life we get stuck in how to be a good person, especially if you're a good Christian folk like myself. You get stuck in, I got to do this, I got to do that, and I got to do this to be a good person. We kind of take the things in the Bible and we take the things that God has said and we turn them into a checklist or to-do list, right? And I really kind of got to thinking, God created us. He knows, he knows the gifts, talents, and goofiness that he put in me. And so while I'm over here going through my Bible, creating a checklist out of all the things that are in there, God says, what he spoke to my heart was, I made you unique and talented. I made you specifically. I made you with a purpose. I made you with all those things in mind. These things that are in my word will come, but not when you make them a checklist. They're going to come when you just be who I created you to be. That's when you'll be able to fully ingest those things, right? But as long as it's something to do and it's a thing to mark off, you're not being who I called you to be. You're not. So I want to leave that with you guys. I'm going to try to make these last few weeks of the Michelle A word of the day. I'm going to try to make them hit, but I really want you guys to get this so that you walk into your new year being who you're supposed to be. So get rid of your checklist. Make sure you got a relationship with God. Make sure your relationship with God goes from just being, the creator and the created, and make sure it transcends into father and child, right? And I think once you get to that level, it allows you the freedom to just say, this is what my father, how he made me, I'm going to just be. And trust that God is strong enough and able to work out all the things that maybe you ain't supposed to be. He's strong enough to work all that out. And then you won't be bound by checklists and you'll be able to kind of live a free life in relationship with God. So that's your Michelle A word of the day. Just be, man. Just be. Boom.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Michelle A word of the day brought to you by my good folks over at Unheard TV. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the St. Louis area,
Come
they
on.
are having a in-person pitch party where they're looking for talent. If you have the idea for a show that could be on TV, yeah, you want to send an email to admin@unheardtv.com. That's right. Send an email to admin@unheardtv.com. Tell them your boy Cortez Hustle told you to email them because you want to get on a schedule to pitch your idea for your talk show, for your reality show, for your comedy special, whatever it is that you want to do. You could be there on Roku TV with my good friends Unheard TV. So you got till the 17th of December to get on the schedule, and the pitch party is actually the 19th of December. So again, email admin@unheardtv.com. So we're talking all about family drama, right? What is one of your biggest pet peeves when it comes to family drama? And we're going to talk about a few different ways that you can deal with these hurts and overcome them and let them go and not take the baggage into the holiday. That is one of my biggest pet peeves, Michelle, is the tension, right? That, like, can we put aside our differences for one day, just have a good time? And then if y'all want to go back to a cat fight tomorrow, then have at it. But don't bring that mess around these festivities when I am the most non-confrontational person that you would ever meet, otherwise known as but I don't want no drama, no smoke at all. So I hate to be in the midst of commotion and drama. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves, man. Don't bring the drama to the family gatherings, man. Set that stuff aside, or just don't show up. And then I get mad too at that when you don't show up, because I'm like, come on, man, this is a family.
And win for losing. See, what had happened was I didn't plan on family drama having the last Christmas. I was minding my own business, right? My daughter had a little soiree on Christmas. I want everybody to spend the night Christmas Eve, and we all gonna wake up together in the morning to do Christmas gifts. So we were doing Christmas at my older girl's house, and it was her boyfriend's. They've been together a couple of years. Her boyfriend's first Christmas with us as a family, and so it actually was a great time until about 11 o'clock when the eggnog came out. Ooh, I don't even know. Anyway. And I know, I may or may not have known that the eggnog was spiked early in the morning at 11 o'clock. Who knew? But by 2 o'clock, I was cussing folks out on Christmas. I didn't mean to. And by 2 o'clock, I was ready to throw them hands on Christmas. You hear me? Me and my baby girl was locked horns as usual. I was like, that's why we took Christmas pictures. Everybody looking pissed off at the Christmas pictures. Like, because mama that got drunk on Christmas and cussed out the whole household.
Everybody looking like, why are you on your 4th cup of eggnog?
Right. Mama, it's not even noon.
This eggnog is on. This eggnog hit a little different when the family is together.
You heard me? It was on point. I was like, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. If we was in India, it'd be 5 o'clock right now. I'm going in. Woo! It was, but you don't intend on having family drama. And sometimes it just happens. And I really did not intend. It was so, when I look back, it was really embarrassing because my son-in-law, he didn't know what to do. He was like, he looked at my older girl. She was like, just don't say nothing, babe. He said, but she can't. He was on my side. God bless your bones, sugar. He was on my side because he was like, you just can't talk to your mama like that. I don't care what she called you and your man. I don't care. You don't talk to your mama like that. No, so we don't intend for that to happen.
My sugar, it takes my wife to talk about this look that comes over me when I'm in the drama. Is like, she's like, that look, because I know you don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. You know, I get this.
It's got to be hilarious.
Look like, oh, crap.
Deer in the headlights, like
some fire right now.
Somebody finna swing.
The most uncomfortable place for me to be on this planet is in the middle of some drama. I'm telling you, I am so not that dude, man. Especially when it's drama with people I love, between two people that I love, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to kick things off, man. Letting go of old family hurts. Families are complex, and all of us are bound to experience some negative emotions from things that happen as we were growing up. No family is perfect, and although your parents might have made every effort to ensure you a safe and happy childhood, I'm going to put a pin in that. Unanticipated events occur that might have been out of your parents' control at the time. As a result, you might have developed feelings of sadness, disappointment, fears, and even hurt about your early years. And this is one of those things where we come around the holiday season and this time of year, and when you don't deal with hurts in your life, then something like a Christmas tree can trigger that. Like, oh crap, just being in here and smelling the smell of hot chocolate makes me think about that Christmas when this happened or that happened. And because you never dealt with it and never healed from it, now it's triggered. And all of a sudden, especially when you have that common experience and you're the person who's attempted to heal from it, and every time you bring it up, nobody wants to talk about it. So the minute you're triggered, everybody else who have that shared experience know that you're triggered. And the first thing they do is what? Oh, here he goes.
Here he goes.
Here she goes. Here he goes.
Here he goes.
Like, no, we're gonna talk about this Christmas. Like, no, like it's so
that
it's
I'm that person.
Yeah.
My daughter is that we gonna talk about it. No, we're not. No, we're not. Because I don't want the emotion. I don't want the fallout. Sometimes you have to process hurts differently. Well, not sometimes, all the times people process hurt differently. And when you get triggered by something, she's a trigger driven person. So when she gets a trigger, boom, she's off to the races. Me, I'll get the trigger. I'm gonna think about it on the inside. I got to think about, I got to process it. Is this healthy? How am I feeling right now? And as I'm processing, she's like them little dogs, that terrier, a terrier. And she won't let it go. And that's how we fall out, because she'll keep pushing and barking. And I'm like, processing on the inside. I don't process outwardly like you do. We process differently. I don't want no smoke right now. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Oh, poof, I see a kid, what they call it, an ember. Oh, I smell smoke. Now you got a fire. Now that's a fire. That's a fire.
Right. Now, you brought this on yourself.
Right. That's why I be throwing cups of water at them. Who gets hit with a cup of water? I ain't want to hurt her. A cup of water is good for you. You know, take a sip as you get it off of yourself. It happens. You
most likely heard the expression about carrying around baggage with you. Baggage is an expression used when referring to unpleasant emotions and feelings we carry throughout our lives, unless, of course, we do something to let go of that baggage. Letting go of old family hurts is critical to living the life we deserve. Now that's key, because
we deserve it.
Sometimes we think poking the bear or forcing people to deal with this stuff, we're trying to interfere or make their life a certain way. No, you messing up the life you deserve, because you trying to force somebody to deal with something in a way that you deal with it, and it just ain't always that way. So comment in the chat, man. Do you have a pet peeve when it comes to family drama, especially around the holidays? This time of year should be filled with love and joy and compassion.
Should be
all of those things. I will say that sometimes it from stuff like this, you can create some amazing memories, right? When the healing does happen, and everybody looks back on it and laughs like, man, that was messed up stuff. But here we go.
When we thought mom was gonna kill her. That was funny. That time my mom was went to jail. That was hilarious.
Right. Cool beans.
All right, so we want to go ahead and get started. I will get this kicked off. So here's a few steps that can help free you from the limitations of said baggage. Okay. Number one, write a list of what you feel hurt or disappointed about, right? Your list might be your list might be quite lengthy, or it might be brief with just one or two items. Whichever the case, recording what you feel hurt about will help clarify what it is that's bugging you. Journaling, right? Yeah. AKA writing things down. I used to think that oh, I had to write it down because I really wasn't a writer. I'm a thinker, I ain't a writer. But I found out that as I write things down, it really does help me outwardly process better, because I am a person that processes internally. When I write things down, it helps me to get it out on paper. I can see it and I'm able to process okay, is this something worth being upset about? If it is, how should I handle it? Because it makes me kind of, okay, I can try this, I can try that. It helps me in the process of processing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think listing those things out and seeing them on paper, you might just surprise yourself with how silly some of this stuff is that you're mad about. Yep.
Absolutely.
Wait.
Absolutely.
And then don't cheat either, because
gotta be honest.
If you were petty Patty, then put them down, because what you'll do is you'll start thinking, like, as it's time to write it down, like, no, that's petty. I'm not gonna write that.
Right.
No, write it down. Write it down with your petty tail, because you need to see that you mad at some foolishness and you're carrying around this stuff for no reason, right?
Well, real quick, me and my baby girl, she's a strong young woman and I love her so, but we've had some of the most petty arguments. And one Thanksgiving, we actually had a fight over who was getting the last part, like the last. I made some greens. They was the best collard greens in the whole wide world. And we was down to the last bowl. We had an argument over who got the last bowl of collard greens. Who got the last bowl of greens? Who deserved them? I deserved them because I cooked them. She deserved them because they was delicious and she was the baby. Fight, a whole fight ensued, whole argument, slamming doors, everything. If I was to make a list, fighting over collard greens and corn and the last piece of cornbread.
And the big sister can't even tell y'all, why don't y'all just split it? No, I want to.
She be trying. She be like, I don't know what to. She kind of be like you. She try to play the peacemaker, but that one time, being the older girl got into it. My baby girl was like, on my mama, she got her phone out. Was like, this never happens. It's normally me. Right? She did. She was like, it's normally me. I got to get this up because everybody gonna believe it. She recorded our fight over mac and cheese. I don't know why we fight over. Yeah, okay. Next. Petty.
Yeah, so write your stuff down, even the petty stuff, and you'll realize that you're carrying around a bunch of baggage from sometimes some foolishness. Now, we're not trying to dismiss or be dismissive that there aren't some legitimate gripes and hurts from your past that need to be dealt with and reconciled.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of stuff is petty. A lot of stuff is petty when you really boil it all down. Number 2 on our list, go more in depth about each issue you listed.
Ooh.
Specific to each item on your list, record how you felt at the time and how you feel now about the situation. The writing process will help you explore your feelings and identify how you truly feel about the past events. And I'll venture to say, when these events involve other people, which 99.99% of the time they do, we got to practice empathy a little bit more, right? Your A word of the day last week or the week before was the root, right?
Yeah, last week.
Often consider
the
root cause. Yeah. Like when I go back and I look at my childhood, my upbringing, and some of the things that I blame my mom for, some of the things I blame my dad for, and then when I get and start looking deeper, as my mom and I had a conversation one time about why she sent me away when I was a kid, right? So for those of you who don't know my story, I was my mom and my family were living in New York. I was sent to live with my dad, and the meeting point was St. Louis. So I stopped at my grandma's. He was supposed to come get me. He never showed up. As a result, I ended up being neglected, abused, sexually and physically in that household. And I was mad as a hornet's nest with my mom. Like, why did you send me away? Right? Because I didn't know the full story. I only knew part of my perspective. And then because when something like that happens, you don't necessarily want to tell everybody. So I carried that and never asked why she sent me away until I was 22, 23 years old. And she finally told me, well, I was in a relationship where this dude was knocking me upside my head every chance he get. So my exit strategy was to start sending the kids away so that then I would have less baggage physically to carry when I made my break for it. So I sent you and your sister away. I then sent, your other sister and brother away. And then ultimately we got on the bus and she left, right? And I was like, man, I'm mad at you all this time and I ain't know.
Didn't even know what? That's it.
I didn't know. I didn't consider her rude.
That, you know what? It makes so much sense. And God bless your mom, because you ever try to run from somebody and had to keep up with somebody? You got to be running. And you got to be like, come on, y'all. Come on. Folk. No, y'all got to put y'all over here, because when I run, I'm out. I don't have to worry about what's going on behind me. I'm only looking ahead.
Got one of the babies. Now I got to go back.
Right. Damn it, CORTEZ. I told you to try your shoes. Damn. Keep your shoes tied. Damn. Nah, but I get it. Yeah. I get it.
So you really got to be empathetic when it involves other people, and not to say that gives them an excuse to wrong you or hurt you. Sometimes, in a lot of cases, the hurt isn't intentional, and you get someone, any of us, on a bad day, we can lash out and we can cause an unjustifiable amount of harm to somebody else.
Right.
But got to be empathetic and forgiving. And when that happens, we just got to say to that person, listen, man, I don't know what you was going through that day, but you hurt my feelings. And I would like an apology. I don't necessarily need one, but I would like one.
Right.
But I need you to know that, you messed me up a little bit with what you said. When you had said what you had said, that hurt.
It depends on where you go, rolling up on. I'd like an apology. I mean, I don't need one. I'd like it. You catch the wrong person with that. You like what?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what you about to get.
You should be so hurtful for what you said or what you did.
That's so honest, though. That's so honest, and I can see you saying that. I'd like an apology. I feel as though I'm deserving of one.
Yes.
Sugar.
Apology. I've licked my wounds. I've healed.
Sugar, get the car. This didn't go well like I thought. Sugar, get the car, babe. Baby, get the car.
I've licked my wounds. I've healed, and now I'm here for the icing on the cake, which is the apology.
Right. I'll wait. What's that? Kiss your what? No, that's not what I'm asking for. I want an apology. I don't want to kiss nothing. I'm here for you to say sorry. Woo! Okay. Number 3. Way too much fun with this list. Recognize how this baggage is affecting you now. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
The way you handle many aspects of your life today could be related to things that happened to you in your past, right? So think about it. Do you avoid getting too emotionally close to others for fear of being hurt? Do you jump into a relationship too quickly only to find out that the other person is not someone that you would normally like to spend time with? Been there. Maybe you allow your anger to wear away at you, when you're dealing with your close loved ones or your friends. And then also, whatever it is, try to connect past incidents with what you're doing now to express those negative emotions from those events, right? So I look at this from this standpoint. I look at my childhood, we just talked about that. And I look at a couple things. I didn't have the strongest relationship with my dad. So I look at that clinginess to me, and sometimes because I didn't have a stable father figure. I look at that and I know that that's a result, right? I look at my mom's need to control every single situation in her life and in the lives of those around her. I feel myself doing that at times, right? So because she had to have everything just like this in a certain way, it had to be her way. I reflect and I'm like, okay, that's my childhood. And the last one is my mom didn't do crying. She didn't do crying. If I cried, I cut my finger off almost. And she was like, what you crying for? Well, I got a finger hanging on here. My thread. She's like, give me that now. We go to the emergency room and I put it back on. But she wouldn't let me cry about things, and no matter what it was. So as a result, I don't like to deal with emotion. I don't want to cry. I'll do it eventually if I get so much of a buildup. But if I have, like when I get into it with my daughter, she wants to get emotional and cry it out. I ain't got time for that. Like I don't want to. I don't want to get into that emotion because I was brought up, you don't cry. Right. Don't do it. So think about those things because it's baggage. That's baggage that I carry. God bless the man that marries this. Yeah. Because you're going to have to deal with it. So, but I'm working towards my healing every day. So.
Yeah. And it starts with that awareness. I cry all the time now, Michelle, because of that very reason.
I love it when you say that because you be so proud. You're like, I cry all the time.
I am so
I'm finna cry right now.
Because that was part of how the abuser in my situation leveraged that, and at one hand was trying to toughen me up and stop crying and all that kind of stuff. I didn't feel like I should cry, and suppressed emotions, right, is what led me. I spent, to this day, I still don't know how long, and eventually I'm going to gather up the strength to go and put this timeline together. But from 96, when my brother was killed, I have a younger brother, the youngest in our family was killed when he was 19 in 96, right? So from that time, prior to him being killed, I had just finally had the strength to tell everybody that I had been molested and abused. And I didn't even know where my real pain came from. My real pain didn't even come from that. It came from the neglect. Because I was in the household. You guys know how we came up. You lived with your grandmama or your big mama, and in my case, our gramps. So did all her kids and their kids. So imagine me being there with no parents, and all of my cousins are there with their mom and dad in that same space. So the neglect was really horrible for me as I look back on it. But I just finally started to go through the process of healing, and I told my mom and my brothers and my sisters, and then I talked to my grandma because it was my uncle who was the perpetrator in this case, and we kind of started the healing process. And then I go from that almost instantly into grief of my brother being killed. So from that moment, I was on a slow mental decline that culminated with me being institutionalized. And it was weeks. Like I was in a mental institution for weeks. And like I said, I don't know the exact timeline. I'm going to go back and actually get my records so that I can see. And it's funny because I often think about this, like, I'm going to go back and find out that dude, you was in there for years. Like somebody wake up out of a coma. Like, like I'm thinking I was in there for a couple of weeks. I'm gonna go back and be like, dude, you was in there for a year. Like, no, but that all of that shaped who I am. And we start talking about you and me crying. I was that dude, like, men don't cry, and me suppressing all of that emotional baggage and pain literally drove me to losing my mind and almost killed me, right? So I think about how we are building men in this society and not allowing men to acknowledge the emotional side that we have, and telling us there's only one way to do manhood. It's destroying a lot of beautiful people. So yeah, I mean, I literally, Michelle, I can't see an emotional moment on film. I hear certain songs and I'm like, and I just stopped fighting. I was like, I don't know why this makes me cry, but damn it, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna let the tear fall, and it is what it is. And if you don't like me crying as a grown $8 man, kick some rocks somewhere, and I hope you hurt your toe. That's kind of
because I'm gonna cry. Like Liddy Williams.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, one of those cries. Yeah, one of those ugly
and the
Viola
tears,
Davis snot bubble cries. Yes, it's going
and
down.
the tears will well up in the wells of your eyes.
Exactly.
Okay, it is. All right.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Know that you're worth living a life without the old hurt. You deserve to have a life unfettered by wounds from your past. Makes me think of Will Smith, fault versus responsibility talk. And one day I'm going to pull that in so you guys can see it. But it wasn't my fault that I was abused as a child. Right?
Absolutely not.
But it is my responsibility to heal from the hurt and the trauma caused by that thing, which wasn't my fault. A lot of times we sit around and we point the finger and blame, and you did this, it's your fault, it's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Life don't care whose fault it is.
Thank you.
It's your responsibility, though, to make sure that your children are protected. Don't care whose fault it is. It's your responsibility to make sure that you repair internally, emotionally, and wholly from what happened to you. So I now know that I deserve to live a life unfettered by those traumas that I experienced as a youth. And it's my responsibility to repair those relationships that I feel need to be repaired. It's my responsibility to go through the healing process for my own sanity. And whether anybody wants to come on that journey or not, it is not for me to say. I can only do the things that I am responsible for me.
That's it. At the end of the day, hey, that's so powerful right there. Like your healing is your responsibility.
It's your responsibility.
Point blank, period.
It ain't. It's not my fault you dropped the hammer on my toe. Right. It's not my fault. You did that. That was an accident on your point. That's not my fault.
Absolutely.
But it's my responsibility to make sure that this thing don't get infected. I don't develop gangrene, and then I get my foot cut off because I'm mad at you for dropping the hammer on my toe.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you
That's
probably
exactly what happens in a lot of cases.
That's it. You want to be able to go kick it with one foot. Ha! But I'm pumped. There you go. All right. Yeah. Number 5. I'm a comedian sometimes. Okay. Number 5, make a decision to let it go. L-I-G it. Okay. Tell yourself you'll no longer be affected by something that happened so long ago. You might want to try a few of these things to help you let it go. There's a couple things that might help you or aid you in the process of letting go. All righty. You could write your old hurts on small snippets of paper and put them in balloons. That's creative. Then blow up the balloons. That probably don't. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know about all that, but you don't know how something go look till you start doing it.
Yeah. It's like
I didn't realize. Probably not the blowing up balloons.
Now the internet is undefeated. So somebody's gonna take that clip, they're gonna put it into a GIF, and you're gonna be a meme, Michelle.
I'm gonna be a meme. I'm gonna get there one way or the other. I'm gonna be a meme. Ha! Okay, write down your hurts on small pieces of paper, stuff them into balloons, go get you an air tank from Party City and blow up those balloons, and then take them outdoors and let them go. As they float away, imagine your pain floating away too. Another way to let
go. Right. You're gonna be a little book
because balloons get stuck in trees.
In somebody's yard, or it's gonna pop, and your little piece of paper gonna fall all over the ground.
And people gonna know your business. They're gonna be like, "Oh, what's going on over there?" Yep, there it is. If you're smart, you put your name and your address on the back of your snippets. So when they get lost, people can mail them back to you. Woo! Okay. Well, I'm on the road. Somebody call me butter because I'm on the road today. Okay. Another way to let go is to write down on paper. Ooh, be careful. Write down your hurts on a piece of paper and then burn the paper in a controlled environment. Now, don't burn your house down doing this indoors. You might want to do it outside. Don't do it indoors. As you watch the writing safely burn in a fireplace or a barbecue grill outdoors, visualize those hurts becoming burned up and disappearing from your life forever. One of the things that I did, because I was very, I was carrying around some bitterness from when my mom passed. I was mad at my mom. I was mad at my sister. I was mad at my mama for dying, which is kind of stupid. I was mad at her for dying, but I was mad at her because of what she did and what she didn't do when she died. I was mad at my sister because she didn't help me prepare for such a heavy burden. She did very little to help, and I was mad. I was angry. So I went to Jamaica because that's what people do when they're mad. Hey, I went to Jamaica by myself and I took a week. And at the end of that trip, I wanted to find some kind of seashells or some stones or something, but they keep their beaches surprisingly pretty clear of those things. Couldn't find anything. So I found a lady on the beach. A lot of times they have these, like what we would consider a pop-up shop. They have these sort of things down there in Jamaica. So I found this lady making jewelry on the beach. And I bought a bracelet. Well, no, I didn't buy a bracelet. I told her what I wanted to do because I thought maybe I was looking for something, shells, stones. So I told her what I wanted to do, and she sacrificed a bracelet for me and gave me these stones out of the bracelet. She, kind of set a blessing over me and sent me off. And so at sunset, I went out to the beach and I stood at the shoreline and I talked to God about it. And then I talked to my mom about it. And I let her know how I was angry. God knew, but I needed to verbalize it. But I used those stones as a symbol of that anger, and I threw them out as far as I could because I wanted to let it go. I didn't want to carry that hurt. The anger I had for my sister, I didn't want to carry it. And me throwing, casting those stones into the ocean was me letting it go. Get washed away, go where you're going, but you're not going to stay with me. And that was a decision that I made. And, and it worked. So it all starts with a decision.
I love it. I love it. Number 6 on our list, from your adult viewpoint, you may now understand what happened. Once you clarify the event, consciously tell yourself that you now understand what occurred and why or how it happened. You gain some insight into the issue. Now you can leave it in the past, right? It's funny you said that about your mom. My dad got killed when I was 11. And I spent a couple years with him. So in the 1st grade and the 3rd grade, I lived with my dad in Tupelo, Mississippi. Went to Church Street Elementary. But even though I lived those 2 years with him, he worked 2 jobs. He worked a full-time job and he ran a nightclub. So I don't have much of a recollection of a relationship with him at all. But as I started growing up and started dealing with my issues, I realized I was pissed off at him for getting himself killed. And as we look back and start talking about the root of a person, he basically ended up being strung out on drugs and had a fight with somebody who came back and later killed him. But when you look at the root, I'd be a little messed up too, Michelle, if at 17 years old, I got dropped off in a jungle called Vietnam and I'm fighting a war that I don't like. That was his life. And we know that a lot of people who came from that war came back addicted to opioids, and that's how they dealt with their trauma and all of that kind of stuff. And it was, you got to really be empathetic with people, and people go through some things that you may not have any clue or idea about. I know he was estranged from his mom. And his father, and I don't know what that did to him. And it's like, man, but I remember one night I had a dream that helped me. And in that dream, he told me he was proud of me. And I was like, I don't know why
wow.
I needed to do that, because I was weeks before that I was just talking about, man, I see other people with their fathers as adults, and I'm like, man, I envy that they could have that relationship. What would my brother and my father be like with my son? What kind of relationship would they have?
Yeah.
And like, man, and that dream really helped me. And now as I start to unpack my own bags, I'm like, man, dude probably has some bags that I have no idea about, how that stuff got in there and how it affected him, and what ultimately led to his demise. So that's just how it is. You got to really go through or go on that journey of self-awareness, like you write in your book, and really start dealing with these tough issues, right? Number 7,
Absolutely.
commend yourself for your efforts to let go of your emotional baggage. After all, it weighed you down for quite some time. Now you're free of it. Praise yourself for an important job well done. And not just your baggage, people, right? We sometimes sit back and we look at all of the haters in our lives, and we love to point them out. Man, they hating on me. They don't want to see me win, right? But when's the last time you patted yourself on the back for doing something amazing, right? Mel Robbins is the author of the 5-second rule, and I heard her talking about how every time she sees herself in the mirror, no matter what or where, a lot of times it's in the restroom. She's washing her hands after she's taking care of her business. She says that I give myself a high five every time I see myself in the mirror, because we forget to
Yep.
really acknowledge, like we'll beat ourselves up over the things we didn't do, but we very rarely will acknowledge and reward and congratulate ourselves for the things that we are doing well. So I certainly love this. It's like, hey, just this conversation. Kudos to you, Michelle. Kudos to you, CORTEZ Hustle, for willing to have
Kudos.
such a vulnerable conversation. And
Absolutely.
it's part of the healing process. So you want to read our closing statements and we'll get out of here.
Why, sure. All right. So you can let go of old family hurts by following these steps. You'll feel so much better when you release the painful feelings you've had for some time. Whoops. Create the life you deserve by banishing the past to where it belongs, in the past. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Set free yourself.
But you got to do the work though. You don't
Absolutely.
like one of the things when I started to, one of the things that helped me deal with my trauma is I started attracting, unbeknownst to me, a lot of people who had gone through similar experiences, molestation, child abuse, neglect, and that kind of stuff. And I heard one of my pet peeves when someone is dealing with something is to hear people say, just get over it. I heard a young lady talking about her sister who was going through some drama because she was missing days at work. And we were on the woodlands, in the woodlands, right? Over at Talks. And her sister was missing some work, and she was like, because she had started having these breakdowns because of dealing with sexual assault and trauma as a kid and all that stuff. And her sister was like, shoot, she's got to get over it. It happened to me too. And I'm like, the better phrase is deal with it. But you don't just get over something, like you just can't. And that's what leads to mental breakdown later in life, because we are trying to just get over it, sweep it under the rug without dealing with it. These things cause lasting damage, and it's like having an infection on the inside that you can deal with it, put some alcohol on it, take the burn of the alcohol and kill the infection, or you can put a Band-Aid on it. It doesn't hurt right now, but there's some stuff growing and bubbling inside, and it's nastiness. Eventually, only two outcomes. You're either going to explode or you're going to implode. There's only two outcomes. When you let things fester on the inside, without dealing with them, you are either going to explode and the fallout is going to be catastrophic because it impacts everything around you, or you're going to implode and you're going to eat yourself up on the inside. And shout out to Carol. She said, you know what? I needed this today.
Aw.
And that's why we do it, Carol, because we never know.
Never know.
Thank you both so much. Appreciate you for tuning in, Carol.
Yep, absolutely.
You continue to tune in every Tuesday right here on the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. And if you don't mind, go out to iTunes and leave us a review.
Please.
That is, that's why we do it, Carol. So final thoughts, Chalet.
Man, final thoughts. The pre-birthday soiree for this 50-year-old Jim right here is going on this Saturday at Al's Lounge. I do everything at Al's Lounge. I believe in supporting Black business, and I like a place where everybody know your name. It's like Cheers. And so if you know me, I've been posting online. I got a countdown going because I'm extra, and I just want people to come out and have a good time. Stop through. It's live music, or it's like a party afterwards. So I tried to create an atmosphere for people that like to do different things, and so if you and the missus are available, man, swing through. I know it may not be y'all set, but swing through and hear a little bit of music or something like that, and say hey. And
Saturday, tell them where Al's Lounge is.
Al's Lounge. Well, thanks, Cortez. I'm glad you asked. Al's Lounge is located at. It's located on Lindbergh, and I wish I knew the address offhand. But it's located on Lindbergh, just off of Hall's Ferry, and it's a small place. It's a local place, but it's tons of fun, and they just don't. It's a little bit of an older place, so I'd probably say 30 and up. And they just don't tolerate no bull frackaneckle in there. So it's a nice place. They have live music every Saturday and Sunday, and DJ afterwards. So I thought it was a cool place to do it. And so come by and help me celebrate my 50 years. Yes, I'm a Capricorn, and yes, I'm invading Sagittarius territory. So should be a lot of fun. So so that's my parting sentiment is just be. I'm gonna be out this weekend. I'm gonna be at the Sugar Shack this weekend. That's how I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be. So that is.
Well, we'd love to see you if you're gonna pull up on Michelle at Al's Place, 2731 North US Highway 67, aka Lindbergh, Florida, Missouri 63033. Pull up, as they say in these streets. So yeah, man, do what you have to do to heal internally. And then do what you can do to help other people heal as well. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. Until we talk to you next time, we want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it. Each and every single one of you. Now hustle up.